On June 5th, 2025, social media and the stock market exploded. At exactly 3:10 p.m. Eastern Time, Elon Musk did what he does best. He fired off a tweet that sent shockwaves through politics, tech, and Wall Street. That tweet, it instantly went viral. In just under 2 hours, it racked up 581,000 likes, over 212,000 retweets, more than 49 million views.
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And says, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. Alex Jones, timeline pin drop.
This wasn't just internet drama. Real-world consequences followed fast. Tesla stock, already shaky, plunged 14%, marking the worst single-day drop in the company's history. A staggering $153 billion in market value was wiped out in hours. To give you context, this was worse than any prior loss in Tesla's history. It wasn't a bad day for Elon. It was historically bad.
Well, Tesla was affected by this. It's not a small drop-off. 14% plunge in biggest one-day valuation drop on record for Tesla, okay? On record for Tesla. So just imagine how his day's been today, right? The sell-off erased $153 billion of valuation from Tesla, the single biggest ever. Go to the next slide, Rob, if you could. Watch what it shows. These are the other days.
But the story doesn't start with that tweet, and it definitely doesn't end there. Just days earlier, Elon had criticized Trump's proposed energy legislation, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Musk dismissed it, saying it's not a big beautiful bill. Trump, in response, didn't hold back. During a podcast with Charlie Kirk, he made it personal. The easiest way to save billions is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. Trump also accused Elon of turning against the bill only after Congress planned to slash the EV mandate, something that would cost Tesla billions. Elon knew every part of this bill better than almost anybody. He had no problem with it until his wallet was affected, Trump claimed. Then things escalated dramatically. As the podcast episode played on, updates started flooding in. Elon Musk unfollowed Trump, Charlie Kirk, and Stephen Miller on X. The Democrats posted, "Kill the bill, release the Epstein files," clearly seizing the moment. Political influencer Ian Miles Cheong tweeted, "Trump should be impeached. J.D. Vance should replace him." And guess what? Elon Musk retweeted it. Let that sink in.
Democrats are going to capitalize off this. They just tweeted this an hour ago, kill the bill and release the Epstein files. Elon Musk just unfollowed Stephen Miller, unfollowed Charlie Kirk, and unfollowed Trump, all on X. That just happened. And
Donald Trump stepped up to the mic, calm, collected, but with an unmistakable edge. He acknowledged the elephant in the room.
And, Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and, which was a lot of money for electric vehicles. And, they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles. And they want us to pay billions of dollars in subsidy. And, Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. That's been, I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning, Mr. Secretary, that hasn't changed at all, right from the beginning. But I know that disturbed him. He wanted, and rightfully, he recommended somebody from, that he, I guess, knew very well. I'm sure he respected him, but to run NASA, and I didn't think it was appropriate. And he happened to be a Democrat, like totally Democrat. And I say, look, we won. We get certain privileges, and one of the privileges, we don't have to appoint a Democrat. NASA is very important. We have great people. General Kane is going to be picking somebody with our, we'll be checking him out, seeing, but he wanted that person, a certain person, and we said no. And, I can understand why he's upset. Remember, he was here for a long time. You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk, and even with the black eye, I said, "You want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup." But he said, "No, I don't think so," which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is, so you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if it will anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best thing. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything like it. Business is spurred. And I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but the numbers came out. Even the CBO, which is run by Democrats, said that we're going to be doing, I'd like you to discuss it, the 2.8 trillion, that CBO. This is a group of people that are Democrats. They're very hostile to us. They just came out with phenomenal numbers, what it does. You want to mention that, Scott?
Yes, sir. So what we've seen is we keep hearing from the CBO that there's going to be a large deficit from the bill, which we disagree with, but using the CBO scoring, they came out and scored the tariff revenue. We think it'll be the minimum of 2.8 trillion over the 10-year window, which actually puts the bill in surplus if you include the tariff revenue, which they won't do.
It gives you a tremendous surplus, but we're not allowed to use that. For some reason, they say scoring. Nobody knows what scoring means. Maybe a couple of people, but nobody. Somebody sits in the background. They say, well, we're not going to allow that. They're not allowing other things that we have that are tremendously profitable for our country. But if you saw the other day, CNBC, they came out with numbers, and the people on the show, very good people, I've watched them for a long time, they couldn't believe the numbers, how good they are. The numbers were incredible, and that was personal income and also very low inflation. We have very low inflation. We're down to 2% now, and maybe even lower than that. And when I took it over, it was a mess. Remember, we had the worst inflation probably in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but let's say I think it's worse than that. So we had the worst inflation in the history of our country under the Biden administration. Now we're down to a beautiful number, 2%. You'd actually like to keep it there. Better than zero is 2%. It's going down maybe to 1, and 1% is like perfect. That's perfect. You don't want to have zero for certain reasons that nobody is very interested to listen to. But we have almost perfect inflation. Grocery prices are down. Everything. Remember eggs? Eggs. We weren't going to buy another egg for the next 20 years. They were so expensive, right? Remember? You guys all hit me about eggs. Eggs have come down 400%. Everybody has eggs now. They're having eggs for breakfast again. But if you look at gasoline, very important. I think always the most important because it's the energy is the biggest factor. That's what happened. He screwed up our energy policy, and everything went up because energy went up. But now energy is way down, and they have states where you're at $1.98 a gallon for gasoline. So the costs have come way down, and one of the things I ran on was that. I ran on the border. We have the best border in the history of our country, 99.99%. It was last week, 3 people came in, 2 of them for medical reasons. We let them in because one of them had a heart attack. I think it was a nice thing to do, and one of them had something else. So we've never I had very good numbers for 4 years, but we really topped it. And I want to thank Christie and Tom Homan. They've done a fantastic job. But nobody mentions that anymore. Remember, a few months ago, the border was a total disaster. People were coming in by the hundreds of thousands of people a day, a week, a month. I mean, we had a month, 2 million people came in 1 month. The border was being overrun, and a lot of bad people, criminals, murderers, drug dealers. We had some of the worst people in the world coming in from all over the world. It's totally closed. And you know what? People are coming into our country, but they're coming in legally. So we've done a great job. Elon knew that. Elon endorsed me very strongly. He actually went up in campaign for me. I think I would have won. Susie would say I would have won Pennsylvania easily anyway, even if the governor ran, the real governor, not the governor from Minnesota, he's a sick puppy, that guy. That poor guy, I feel sorry for him. But they made a bad choice with him. But if you pick Shapiro or anybody else, I spoke to him recently about his house being set on fire, which was terrible. But if they picked him, I would have won Pennsylvania. I won it by a lot. But I'm very disappointed because Elon knew the inner workings of this bill better than almost anybody sitting here, better than you people. He knew everything about it. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden he had a problem, and he only developed the problem when he found out that we're going to have to cut the EV mandate, because that's billions and billions of dollars, and it really is unfair. We want to have cars of all types. Electric, we want to have electric, but we want to have a gasoline, combustion. We want to have different. We want to have hybrids. We want to have all. We want to be able to sell everything. And when that was cut, and Congress wanted to cut it, he became a little bit different, and I can understand that. But he knew every aspect of this bill. He knew it better than almost anybody, and he never had a problem until right after he left. And if you saw the statements he made about me, which I'm sure you can get very easily, it's very fresh on tape. He said the most beautiful things about me. And he hasn't said bad about me personally, but I'm sure that'll be next. But I'm very disappointed in Elon. I've helped him.
In the aftermath of Elon Musk's shocking tweet hinting that Donald Trump might be on the Epstein list, tensions have exploded among conservative circles. What you're about to see is an intense behind-the-scenes discussion. Supporters of Trump, commentators, and insiders trying to unpack what just happened. Vinny kicks it off, reminding the group that months ago someone predicted Elon would turn, and now that moment has arrived. He accuses Elon of hypocrisy, pointing out that Musk once backed Trump, funded him, and even let his child X spend time around Trump. Yet now he's implying Trump's tied to Epstein. Brandon jumps in with a deeper theory. This isn't just drama, it's a strategic coup. He believes Elon, backed by Peter Thiel and the PayPal mafia, is positioning J.D. Vance to rise if Trump falters. The moment Trump pushed back on EV subsidies, Elon retaliated, not out of moral outrage, but out of economic interest and political control. Others in the room agree, if Epstein evidence existed, the Democrats would have used it years ago. That they haven't proves one thing. They're all afraid of what it might expose. Tom puts the nail in the coffin. Elon isn't concerned about justice, he's worried about money. If Trump's bill slashes EV subsidies, Tesla bleeds. And when business suffers, Elon strikes back. So the question now is, was Elon Musk's tweet a warning shot, a personal grudge, or the first public move in a high-stakes play for control over America's future? Here's the footage. Judge for yourself.
Rockets, here's my thing. I voted for Donald Trump. I didn't vote for Elon Musk. Thank you for the help, but this is not only disrespectful as shit. I get it with the money, but you know, when it comes to governing this country, that's who I voted for, and I can give two shits what Elon Musk feels about. Whoa, but mind you though, here we go, and you showed a little bit of it. 6 months ago, the left was calling Elon a Nazi, a legitimate Nazi. Now they're all bending over, and they're all giving it up for freaking Elon now. So how phony and how fake these freaking people are. Fake, phony as hell, all of them.
I think there's two things here at once. I think that there's truth behind like the Trump Epstein connections, but not from the standpoint of him being on like the pedo list or anything like that. I think there's a lot of evidence to show that maybe Trump had a lot of blackmail stuff where he used blackmail against people because he was mentored by Roy Cohn. He bought the Plaza Hotel. He bought the boat from the international arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi. So those were things that were allegedly used for blackmail. So I think from that side of things, he could have been involved in that type of stuff, but not the child sex trafficking type of thing, obviously. And Elon, I don't think he's doing this for pure intentions to get under Trump's skin. I think this feels like a coup where Elon's been friends with Peter Thiel since the PayPal mafia days, and feels like a situation where maybe they were trying to get J.D. Vance in. They saw an angle to do that from that day of the assassination attempt, because like it's weird that J.D. Vance becomes the vice president the day after Elon strongly endorses Trump, and they loaded up Doge with Palantir employees. Now they have that Palantir Doge plan going forward, and maybe they were planning this entire time that the second that Trump isn't doing exactly what Elon wants, then they're going to execute this, because Elon wants a technocracy. He thinks that government should not be in charge, that private business owners like the tech elites should be in charge. So yeah, I think there's two things true at the same time. I think that like Trump, yeah, he did some stuff where maybe he used blackmail as a currency in the past, but I think Elon has dark intentions. He's not America first.
And real quick, how would they be able to get Trump out with the Epstein something list be able to get him impeached?
I don't think they will, because I think there's a reason that the Democrats didn't use that. Like, it's very telling that, like, it's not hard to find stuff that is weird about what Trump did during the 80s with, you know, buying certain properties and hanging out with certain people. The left never mentioned that once, and what that tells me is they do not want to touch that thread. Like, the fact that they tried these far-fetched attempts to get him on, you know, overpricing real estate, and like this girl might have said something, this and that, and never even spoke about the Epstein list, tells me that they have a lot of friends, if not themselves, that are involved with that situation. I think this goes into both parties, and like they will not touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, Epstein and all that, that's not the story. Because I agree with everything that's been said, don't need to add to it. Dems and other people, opposition, would have used that long ago if there was a scintilla that they could grab onto. No, I think this is, Elon has just picked one of the biggest, most carefully stated pokes you could use. Because everyone is waiting for the Epstein files. Yeah. And everybody's, and he's very concerned. I go back to 10 days ago, before we came in today, I looked back, and 10 days ago, it was leaking out that Elon had said when he was stepping away, I got to get back to my my companies, this is killing me. And he made that comment.
Yep.
And if in fact the $7,500 incentive is going to be cut and it's going to be rolled back, that hurts Tesla tremendously. When's the last time Tesla rolled out a new model? Yeah, exactly. They got the big one, they got the little one, they got the truck, and they got the Y with the mini SUV with the wings. There's been nothing going on at Tesla in terms of new product, unless they're about to get one. They've talked about the Roadster coming back, but there hasn't been anything. And they're just trying to sell. And so they're trying to run as a real car company, and they're trying to sell. They need that subsidy. So if that subsidy got cut out, I could see him being really pissed. Because, wait a minute, I did $250 million worth of help to get you guys elected, and nobody's watching my back on the $7,500 subsidy, and it's not a new president. All you guys got to do is make it stay. It's not, you don't have to give me anything. Just leave it be, because everybody gets it. But I suffer more because I'm a much higher market share here. So I feel that part of it. And then there's another part of me that just wonders, man, are we watching an op? Is this weird? You know, I traded DMs back and forth, Mark Mitchell, Rasmussen, a half hour ago. And it's like both of us are looking at this. Are they trying to? Is this staged? Is this an op? There's so much to it that just seems so weird and out of the blue. So there's a little 5% of me that says, is this something crazy here that we're not seeing? But nothing on Epstein. It is a world-class poke because everybody's waiting for those files, and I think